Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English for Better Life. I'm Anna.
And I'm Mark. We are so happy to have you here with us today.
You know, Mark, I was thinking this morning, if I told you that I spent my weekend designing my dream life, would you think I finally lost my mind and joined a cult?
Honestly, Anna, I'd probably ask where the purple robes are. But seriously, whenever I hear the phrase dream life, I usually roll my eyes. It sounds like those glossy Instagram filters or someone trying to sell me a get-rich-quick course from a beach in Bali. It feels a bit fluffy and unrealistic, doesn't it?
It totally does. I used to feel the exact same way, but then I came across a method by Dr. Nguyen. She's a researcher and professor in the US, and she's been using a specific 3-year plan for over 6 years now.
A PhD using a dream life plan? Okay, that definitely gives it some street cred. So what's the catch? Is it just a fancy to-do list for overachievers?
Smiling. Not quite. It's more like a bridge. On one side, you have your wildest, I'm too scared to say this out loud dreams. On the other side, you have the very real, very practical steps you take on a Monday morning. It's about being positive, but also fiercely realistic.
I like that. Fiercely realistic. Because let's face it, life isn't a movie. Things go wrong. We get tired. We fail.
Exactly. And that's why I love this approach. Chi is so honest about her journey. She's seen the parts that work and the parts where life just says, nope, not today. But the amazing part, she's living a life right now that she literally scripted for herself years ago. The career, the family, the peace of mind, it started on paper.
All right, you've got me curious. If it's not just wishful thinking, how do we actually start? Because my current plan is just trying to survive the next 24 hours.
I think we've all been there, but the first step is actually quite fun. It involves getting all those messy thoughts out of your head and making them visual. It starts with a vision board.
A vision board. Oh boy, do I need to go buy some glue and old magazines?
No glue required, I promise. We're going to do this the smart way. No glitter required, I promise. Just some honest reflection.
Okay, Anna, you caught my interest with the PhD part, but let's get real. No glue, no scissors. To be honest, I still feel a bit silly just looking at pictures and dreaming. I mean, I know what I want in my head. Why do I need to see it?
I totally get that. You're a man of action, Mark. But here's the psychological secret. Our brains respond to images much more powerfully than just abstract words. When you just think about success, it's fuzzy. But when you pick a specific image that represents it, you're making that goal tangible.
So what did she do? Did she have a giant board hanging over her bed like a teenager?
Actually, no. She's very practical and minimalist. She used Canva and PowerPoint. It's simple. You just find images that trigger the vibe of the life you want. For example, if you want to travel, don't just pick a random airplane. Pick that specific, quiet street in Florence, or that mountain in Vietnam you've been dying to climb.
Nodding, okay. That sounds more like a digital blueprint than an art project. But I remember from the transcript, she mentioned being scared. Like she was hesitant to even put a picture of a baby on her board.
That part really touched me. She was terrified that if she dreamed too big and it didn't come true, the heartbreak would be too much. So instead of a baby, she put a picture of her cat, Friday, and wrote the word baby. It was her way of building up the courage to even admit what she wanted. This step isn't just about pretty photos, it's about the courage to dream.
Wow, I never thought building a vision board required bravery. I thought it was just picking out aesthetic backgrounds for your phone.
It's about being radically honest with yourself, Mark. We often hide our biggest dreams because we're afraid people will laugh, or worse, that we'll fail. The vision board is where you say yes to those desires. And she says you don't even have to hang it up. You can keep it private on your computer and just check it every few months.
Thank goodness. I'm not ready to explain to my roommates why I have a picture of a private library and a golden retriever on my wall just yet.
Exactly. Keep it for yourself. But here's the thing, looking at pictures is just the start. To really feel like it's possible, we have to go deeper.
Deeper? Like how?
Like writing a love letter to your future self.
A love letter to myself? 3 years from now? Okay, Anna, now you're definitely testing my manly boundaries.
Trust me, it's the most powerful part of the whole system. Stay with me.
Okay, Anna, I'm still stuck on this love letter thing. Writing a letter to myself 3 years from now, isn't that a bit like those time capsules we used to bury in elementary school? Dear Mark, I hope you have a cool bike by now.
In a way, yes, but this is much more intentional. Nguyen calls it a love letter because you have to write it with kindness and absolute certainty. You aren't writing about what you hope will happen. You are writing as if it has already happened.
Wait, so I'm basically lying to myself. If I'm broke now, I should write, Dear Mark, I'm so glad we are millionaires. Doesn't that feel a bit delusional?
It feels weird at first, I know, but think of it as emotional rehearsals. In psychology, they say your brain has a hard time distinguishing between a vivid imagination and reality. When you write, I am so proud that I am now a calm and healthy person, you're teaching your brain to accept that version of you as the truth. You're moving from just dreaming to actually believing.
Totally. So it's about shifting my identity. Instead of I want to be a writer, I write I am so happy I finished my book.
Exactly. And Chi breaks it down into 6 specific areas so you don't miss anything. Number 1, mental state. Are you peaceful, calm? Number 2, physical health. How does your body feel? Number 3, relationships. Are you a better partner, a better friend? Number 4, career. What have you achieved? Number 5, finances. Do you feel secure? Number 6, lifestyle. How do you spend your Saturdays?
Wow, that's quite a list. I usually only think about the career and finances part. I forget that if I'm rich, but my mental health is a wreck, I'm not really living the dream life, am I?
Spot on. Chi was very honest. Back in 2016, she was a stressed-out PhD student. She felt weak, her English wasn't perfect, and she was in debt. But in her letter, she wrote to her 2019 self saying, I am so proud that you are now a university professor and you don't worry about money anymore.
And did it work? Did she become a professor by 2019?
Well, here is the realistic part. She actually didn't hit that specific goal until 2021, but because she had written that letter, she didn't give up when 2019 came and went. She had built such a strong belief in that future version of herself that she just kept going.
That's a really important point, Anna. Sometimes we set goals and when we miss the deadline, we just throw the whole plan in the trash. But the letter kept her vision alive.
Exactly. And there's one more part to the letter that changed everything for her. Community impact. She realized her dream life couldn't just be about her. It had to be about helping others. She didn't have money or power back then, so she decided to use the only thing she had, her writing.
And that's how she wrote her blog, The Present Writer Was Born.
Precisely. She wrote her dream life into her dream life by trying to help others find theirs. It's pretty beautiful when you think about it.
It really is. Okay, I'm starting to see the better life part of this. But okay, Anna, I've got my board, I've written my love letter tucked away, and my heart is full of dreams. But let's talk business. How does a stressed out student with debt actually become a university professor in the US? That's not a wish upon a star kind of goal. That's a mountain.
You're right, it is a mountain, and the only way to climb it is to stop looking at the peak and start looking at your boots. This is what she calls reverse engineering.
Reverse engineering, like taking a machine apart to see how it works?
Exactly. You take your 3-year dream and you work backwards. If you want to be at point Z in 3 years, where do you need to be in year 2, year 1, this month, today?
Okay, give me an example. Let's use Chi's goal of becoming a professor. That sounds like a massive, vague goal to me.
It was, but she made it fiercely realistic. She realized that to get that job, she needed a strong research background. Specifically, she calculated she needed 10 published papers.
10 papers? That's a lot of writing.
It is, but listen to how she broke it down. 10 papers in 3 years sounds impossible, but that's about 3 papers per year, which means 1 paper every 4 months.
Calculating, okay, 1 paper every 4 months, that sounds actually doable.
Right? And then she went even smaller. To finish a paper in 4 months, what do you do today? You write for 1 hour every morning. You meet with a writing tutor once a week. You collaborate with a mentor. Suddenly, the dream life isn't a miracle anymore. It's just a series of small, boring Tuesday morning habits.
That's the secret sauce, isn't it? People love the vision board part because it's fun to dream, but they quit when they see the work. But if you break the work down into tiny bites, the fear goes away.
Exactly. She did the same for her mental health. She didn't just write, "I want to be happy." She wrote, "I will meditate for 10 minutes. I will journal every night. And I will schedule an appointment with a therapist." She treated her soul like a project that needed a schedule.
I love that. Soul project scheduled for 9 a.m. But what about the things we can't control? Like, I can study for an exam, but I can't force the teacher to give me an A. She couldn't force a university to hire her, right?
You're 100% right. And that's a huge lesson for our listeners at English for Better Life. You plan the effort, not the outcome. She couldn't control the hiring committee, but she could control having those 10 papers ready. When the opportunity finally knocked in 2021, she didn't have to get ready. She was ready.
Nodding. That reminds me of that saying, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
Brightly, precisely. And the action plan is how you prepare. It turns you into the kind of person who deserves the dream life.
I'm looking at my watch, Anna, and I'm realizing if I start today, 3 years from now, I'll be a completely different person. But what if I fail? What if I do the work and the dream still doesn't come true?
Softly. That's a heavy question mark. And honestly, it's the most important part of Chi's story. In our final section, we're going to talk about the 90% success rate and why failing at some dreams might actually be a good thing.
Curious. Failing can be good? Okay, you've piqued my interest again. Let's wrap this up. So, Anna, we've talked about the boards, the letters, and the spreadsheets. But life isn't a computer program. You mentioned earlier that she didn't hit 100% of her goals. What happened when the plan met reality?
Sighs softly. You know, Mark, this is actually my favorite part of her story because it's so human. Chi was very open about her failures. For instance, back in 2016, she dreamed of moving to a glamorous big city like New York or San Francisco.
And is she a New Yorker now?
Smiling. No, she's in a mid-sized city, and she realized she's actually happier there. As she grew older and had a child, her values changed. She realized a big city was too noisy, too fast for the peaceful life she actually wanted. Sometimes not getting what you want is a gift, because you realized you didn't actually want it in the first place.
Reflective. That's a powerful realization. It's like the plan is a compass, but you can change the destination if you find a better forest to explore.
Exactly. But then there are the sad parts, the things we lose that we can't control. Chi and her husband saved every penny for a dream trip to Italy. They even ate leftover food from the restaurant where her husband worked just to save that money.
Impressed. That is some serious dedication. Did they make it to Rome?
Voice softening. No. Their cat, Friday, who you might remember was her symbol for family on her first board, got very sick with cancer. They spent all their Italy money, about $3,000, on her surgeries and care. In the end, they lost Friday. And then, when they finally had money again, the pandemic hit, and she couldn't even travel back home to Vietnam for years.
Silence for a moment. Wow, that's heavy. It makes the dream life feel a bit fragile, doesn't it?
It does, but she said something beautiful. She has no regrets. Spending that money to have more time with her cat was more important than a photo at the Coliseum. And that's the real secret, Mark. The 3-year plan gives you a 90% success rate. That 10%, that's where life happens. That's where you learn to be grateful for what you do have.
Nodding.
90% is still an A in any classroom. If I can get 90% of my dream life, I'd be the happiest man on earth.
Laughs, right? She's living her dream now, not because it's perfect, but because she was intentional about it. She's a professor, she has a blog that helps thousands, and she has a peaceful family. She didn't just let life happen to her, she designed it step by step.
Looking at the audience/camera, well, I don't know about you guys listening at English for Better Life, but I'm going home to start my Canva board tonight. No purple robes, no cults, just me, a laptop, and some honest dreams.
Warmly. That's the spirit, Mark. And to our listeners, your English is getting better every day, and so can your life. Start small. Dare to dream. Believe in that future version of yourself. And most importantly, take that first tiny step today.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We'd love to hear about your dream life in the comments. What's one thing you're putting on your vision board?
We can't wait to read them. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep learning. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.